What's up, everyone? In today's stream, let's talk about visual design skills in experience design work, whether it's customer experience or user experience. How much visual design skills should you have or should you know when going into visual design work? Okay, let's talk about that today. Hi, I am Ellie. I'm a user experience. Well, I'm a head of customer experience in a digital transformation office in a large conglomerate and the founder of a design community nonprofit based in the Philippines. Today, let's talk about how much visual design do you actually need to know when studying, when you're going to customer experience or UX, right? Let's start off with this article. This is from Adobe XD Ideas, and it talks about the role of visual design user experience. And basically, you need, it says, basically, it's part of, um, it shows an example of the different visual design skills that you need, particularly the Gestalt principles that you always read about once you start studying about UX or CX design work. But, but you'll notice that a lot of, and even there are articles by Norman Nielsen that also talks about visual design in UX, and you will see it in the career paths. One of the career paths in talked about in skillsfuture.gov.sg under the design career path. But there are other career options available for people who are taking the design, the customer experience design, or CX design, or even user experience design path. And here's a nice article from Interaction Design Foundation that says ultimate guide to understanding UX roles and which one should you go for. And they talk about which roles exist. So they start off with design thinking and key tasks in design thinking. Okay, and then what is the role of a UX designer? These are UX designers are generalists who cover a little bit of everything in the entire design process. As a UX designer, you'll understand your users' needs, generate ideas to solve their problems, prototype designs, and finally test them with users. In other words, UX designers participate in all five phases of the design thinking process. So this is the mindset, this is the concept that Interaction Design Foundation applies. They apply the design thinking process, and then they say that if you become a UX designer, you need to know at least a little bit of everything in the design thinking process. Okay. They are also known as interaction designers, UI/UX designers, and experience designers. Right. And what tasks will you perform? User research, pain points, ideation, desirability, viability, prototyping designs, conduct usability, and push a design solution out to the world that will benefit both of your company and your users. So that's very interesting. Um, and what are your deliverables? Here's a nice list of deliverables for you: research reports, personas, journey maps, prototypes, wireframes. A nice, clear list of deliverables if you're going to UX work. Now, what is another path that's described here is the product designer role, which they talk about. Basically, you do all the same things, but you also make the product roadmap. You need to be able to deliver a minimum viable product if you're into the agile process, agile implementation framework, software development framework. You also need to have a roadmap. So you need to know this. Um, all the tasks in the UX designer plus you have to have the product roadmap for 6 to 12 months into the future. Then you need to work closely with the development team. What will you produce? Um, all deliverables above plus product roadmaps. So very interesting that's how this describe it. And you take charge of the prototype. This is visual designer. So the next step is being a visual designer, and you're more focused on the prototype phase of the design thinking process, making the also known as UI designers or graphic designers. You transform UX goals, maintain a library of icons, colors, and fonts, apply branding guidelines, use your knowledge of Gestalt principles, typography, color design, to apply graphical user interfaces. Okay, so these are the roles of a visual designer, and and then there is a UX researcher. Take charge of the empathy, define, and test phases of design thinking process. I like their framework. They use the design thinking process of interaction design foundation, and also known as user researchers or researchers. What tasks will I perform as a UX researcher? You do interviews, you do card sorting, you analyze the data, you look at different needs and perspectives, you inform product goals. And what deliverables do you need? You need this user research reports, personas, stories, learning maps. Okay, so very nice framework. If you're into UX research, if you're human psychology, you like to empathize with users. Okay. Then there's also a content strategist, so another interesting career role in the design thinking process. And what else did they put here? UX unicorn. Okay, let's not talk about UX. Typically refers to a designer who is also proficient in design and front-end development. So it's interesting that there's a UX developer in UX Philippines, and which is apparently someone who knows design and is into front-end development. And they are considered extremely rare because only people talented enough to do real front-end work are considered proper UX unicorns. So it's interesting, this definition by Interaction Design Foundation. Do I see this in the real world? Have I seen people like this? Yes, I have, actually. I know a couple of people who fall in each either of these paths, and that's how they categorize this in terms of design thinking framework. And you will see the same thing, similar thing in the skillsfuture.gov.sg framework. So they are design facilitators. There are the content writers here. There's a visualizer. The focus is on the visual design. There is a design researcher. The focus is on the research. And there's a facilitator who basically conducts the entire design thinking process. Okay? And but they also have the product manager or product design, which is somewhere here. Which according to Interaction Design Foundation is someone who knows enough of design thinking, but also has the product roadmap. Okay. And then there's apparently a unicorn who is also this, probably my understanding is this career path. You know enough about this, but you also are the person who codes, which is you are already borderline into the IT field, into the development field, right? So it's pretty interesting paths that you can take. Therefore, you need to know enough visual design, enough general info, or you should be a generalist enough that you know enough visual design when you are going into the experience design field. Enough to be have a conversation, enough to present an idea, enough visual design to have that conversation with the rest of the team, that have a meaningful conversation. So, but there are other career paths for you if you want to go into experience design work, customer experience or user experience design work. You need to know enough, but there are other options in the field, and it's part of the job to be, if you want to go to experience design, to be just to know enough of the other skills as well, to be productive and meaningful, and provide meaningful insight to the rest of the company. Okay. So depends on your career path. You can have multiple career options, and depends on where you want to go. That's how much user interface or visual design work that you need to know. Okay, so hope that helps. Hope that answers the question. We are day 20 in our learning experience design sessions. We do this every day from 6:30 to 7:30 in the morning. Um, and if you'd like to see the rest of the series, look at ellie.cx, which is the YouTube channel for all the videos I talk about in user experience design and customer experience design. Okay, hope this helps. Enjoy your day. Hope your day will be as awesome as you are. And I'm off to my day job. Bye bye.